Hi folks, I'm going to be installing this keyless entry system into a 2000 Honda Accord, or CR-V rather. It's very similar for all Honda models, especially around this year. So what comes in this package is your wiring harness, your module here, which your wiring harness connects to right there, 2 remotes, and you have your simple instruction manual. Here we see how to wire it up, a simple diagram. It looks a little intimidating at first, but we'll skip down to the central. We'll skip down below this because we won't need to use all these wires. We will just notice that the black and red is going to go to the battery, obviously. Purple is going to go to the lights so they flash. Green is going to go to the window. And blue is going to go to the trunk release, which the CR-V has an electronic trunk. I determined that I'm also only going to be using the white wire and the white and black wire for locking and unlocking, and that's based off of this diagram back here. It tells you, oh, that's upside down, isn't it? It tells you what you're going to need. I determined that my car has this kind of locking system. So white is goes to the locking motor for locking the doors, and white and black goes to the locking motor for unlocking the doors. So I went online and we're going to use the wiring diagram for a 2000 Honda CR-V. That's what we have. We want to use the positive 12 volt wire that's always on, and this is the location in the ignition wiring harness, so we're going to use that wire. We're also going to be using the power door. Both of these wires is for locking and unlocking. So we're going to look for the green and white and the green and orange, and these are going to be located under the kick panel, which is, right above where your feet are in the CR-V. So we're going to remove that panel. We're also going to hook it up to the parking lights. So we're going to look for a red-black wire, and that's going to be near the dimmer switch inside the car. And we're going to be looking for the hood trigger. So that's going to be a yellow, red or yellow wire, and that's going to be around the hood pin switch to release the hood. And I think that's all we're going to be doing right there. We also will probably hook up the horn, and we'll look for a gray wire, and that's going to be located in the kick panel as well. I think we are going to skip hooking up the windows for this one, because we barely ever would use that. So it's time to go out and get started. Alright, so we're at the panel. There's only 2 screws to remove this panel. One right over here and one down here, where that little, right next to above that trunk thing. So then we're just going to pull it out of the little sprocket, the little holders there. And already we can see our trunk wire, so that's going to be easier to get to. And here is our kick panel wiring harness, right up here. So we're going to start looking for the right color wires based on our diagram and hooking them up. Also, I picked up these little splicers, so you don't have to actually splice the wire. You just use a pair of vice grips and clamp them on. So that's going to make my job a lot easier. So we'll see what it looks like when it's all hooked up. I'll show you where I'm at right now. I have the red hooked up to the white wire, which is constant positive, and then the black going to the ground, and I just have it clamped onto a ground wire there. And I tested it. I do have a positive 12 volts going to these red and black wires. So it's time to hook up the rest. Okay, it's done. Everything's wired up. I have, this is going to the lights, which is going to the dimmer switch in the dashboard, but it does run the parking lights. Of course, you got your positive and your negative, and your white wires going to your door switch. And we're going to test it out real quick to see if everything works. I hit the lock button. Alright, well, it won't lock because the door is open, but you can see on that side the door is locked, and I'll hit the unlock button. And there we go. So we're locking, and we're unlocking. Looks good. I'll also take the light. Now when I hit the lock button, we get some lights here, and the unlock button. There we go. It works. Last thing to do is zip tie all these wires up and put the panel back on, make it look all nice and tidy. And there you have it, folks. Keyless entry, all installed. Working good. That simple.